What's up guys, Chase Oliver here, bringing you another video to my channel, and today I am going to be reviewing the documentary of Ladies and Gentlemen, My Name is Paul Heyman. And let me tell you guys something, I just recently watched the documentary. I'm just reviewing the documentary. I ain't reviewing the whole damn DVD. If you want the whole damn DVD review, go watch another YouTuber. I'm just reviewing what is a part of the documentary and my thoughts and opinions on the documentary, because really when it comes down to WWE DVD purchases, I could care less what the bonus features are because those are going to be uploaded to YouTube soon enough. I could care less about the matches because I have all the damn matches on the WWE network. I do not need to see, extra matches or bonus features unless those matches have audio commentary involved with it. Normally, I probably won't get the DVD. I won't freaking care about the whole DVD. I only care about the documentary because that is the meats and bones of every single WWE DVD. So I'm just reviewing the documentary portion of Ladies and Gentlemen, My Name is Paul Heyman. Full review, someone else has you covered. So let me get started with the documentary review of Ladies and Gentlemen, My Name is Paul Heyman. Now, the documentary runs 2 hours long, so save some time, spread it out. Say, you know what, 2 hours of my time is going to be dedicated watching about Paul Heyman and his career in professional wrestling and outside of professional wrestling. And I really did like what they did with this DVD. I like the cast that they got to interview for Paul Heyman. I like the music in this documentary. I like how the interviewees were shot. I really like the dark setting that they had there, the dark blue setting. It really felt fit with the tone that they were trying to talk about with Paul Heyman as just a guy in general. I really liked how they covered a lot of Paul Heyman stuff during his time as a manager, because let's face it, a lot of you younger generation guys, you don't know that Paul Heyman used to be a successful manager before, working with CM Punk, Ryback, Cesaro, and Brock Lesnar. No, a lot of you guys just knew Paul Heyman as probably just the ECW owner. But they should really show, Paul Heyman as Paulie Dangerously, and they talk about what the Paulie Dangerously character was all about. They talk about how Paul Heyman got into the wrestling business, and it's really smart how he did it. I'm not going to really spoil anything from this DVD, but it's really smart how Paul Heyman got himself inside of Madison Square Garden back in the times when he was only a 17-year-old kid. So it was really, really cool to see how Paul Heyman was as a promoter, even in the earlier days before he did ECW stuff, with Studio 52 in New York City. I really thought they did a great job, just doing the timeline structure of this DVD about how Paul Heyman started in the wrestling business, how he started as a promoter, and then all of a sudden, became a manager in the wrestling business. Now, my one complaint about this DVD is that they literally spend 40 freaking minutes on ECW, and I get it. Paul Heyman did wonderful things in ECW. I actually like some of the stuff that they showed from this DVD about ECW. I like that they showed Paul Heyman working with guys like Rhino and that fat guy, and he was telling them how you should deliver your promos. I like seeing that type of stuff, from Paul Heyman, because it gets you the idea, man, these guys really did love Paul Heyman. This is the reason why these guys always fight for Paul Heyman, because he does stuff like this. He gets really personal with you. He makes you want to be a better superstar. I really, really liked, the idea behind ECW beforehand when he first joined with Todd Gordon, and he told Todd Gordon, hey, man, let's stop signing all these WWE guys and WCW guys. There's way too much money. Let's try to build our own homebred talent. I really like that stuff. But really, to be honest, they literally go into the history of ECW, and you already have how many freaking DVDs talking about ECW. Don't get me wrong. I get it. This was going to be featured heavily because it is Paul Heyman. But really, to be honest, if you guys really want a history of ECW, Rise and Fall in ECW has you covered. The only thing that you got to learn more about that's different from Rise and Fall of ECW is that we finally learned Paul Heyman was not receiving any money from the WWE. He was never part of the WWE payroll. The WWE really only paid $1,000 just so they can get Flashpunk onto their product to make up for some music promotion and all this other stuff. I can't remember off the top. Tommy Boy Music Company, I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's really all the WWE was paying ECW, apparently, was just $1,000 to make up for them losing Too Cold Scorpio music rights, apparently. So that's all really that Paul Heyman said the WWE was giving them. But really, to be honest, it's just like, don't get me wrong, I get it. This was going to be featured heavily. But really, you have so many stuff already on ECW. We don't need more ECW history. We know how ECW died. We know how ECW, became this pop culture thing. And I get it. Paul Heyman was the big factor in it. We all know why these guys love Paul Heyman. I liked I just wish they kind of just focused more about Paul Heyman's relations with ECW talent and his behind the scenes type of things, because they had some good stuff talking about how genius Paul Heyman was behind the scenes of ECW. They did talk about that stuff very well, about his creative genius and his editing genius and all that other stuff. But I wish they focused more on that than just focus more about ECW growing and all this other stuff, because we know how ECW died. We knew how ECW became successful. You do not need to tell us more about ECW, WWE. We get it. It was awesome. Great. I feel like they could have saved a lot more time on this DVD too, because I was sitting here watching that part and I was just saying, I can watch the rise and fall of ECW right now and get the same exact information minus little tidbits here or there. I just felt that part of the documentary was just more focused on ECW than it was about Paul Heyman. And when I'm watching a Paul Heyman documentary, I want to know more about Paul Heyman, not more about ECW. I already know about ECW. So that's all I really got to say. That was probably my least favorite part of the whole documentary. But then afterwards, I liked how they talked about his times during as a head writer for SmackDown and OVW. I really liked that. I really liked when they talked about that, because let's just face it, SmackDown back in 02 and 03 was probably some of the best shit on TV when it came down to wrestling at the time. I mean, Monday Night Raw, you were getting Triple H shoved down your fucking throat. And here was SmackDown. They were featuring a bunch of different guys like Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Edge, Chris Benoit. I really like the idea that Paul Heyman had with SmackDown. Like, oh yeah, we're going to push these guys that people don't view as main eventers, but we're not going to hurt the blockbuster names like a Brock Lesnar, a Hulk Hogan, and The Rock. So I really liked that idea and that genius that Paul Heyman had with SmackDown. And I really like what he did with OVW, helping people out, you know, how he wanted SmackDown to be the A show. But like I said, he did well in OVW too. When he left WWE, ECW One Night Stand happened because Shane McMahon was a big fan of it. I really like that stuff about ECW One Night Stand. I completely agree with Heyman said in DVD. If ECW One Night Stand 2005 was it, it should have been it. I'm glad that they buried the shit out of WWE ECW, because that shit was garbage. It was like what Tommy Dreamer said. Tommy Dreamer made the perfect analogy for WWE ECW. It was like watching a stepfather try to raise your kid a different way than you would have raised it. So I really like what Tommy Dreamer said about that. I'm glad that they buried WWE ECW. But what I also liked about this DVD is that, you know, it wasn't just about Paul Heyman as a promoter or successful guy in the wrestling business. It really was about Paul Heyman, you know, just as a person too. You know, you got to see what he was like, see what he is like as a family man, you know, how about his kids and stuff like that. And that was good stuff because, you know, let's face it, a lot of us wrestling fans, we want to know more about these wrestlers' personal lives. That's why they have Twitter. We ask them questions all the time, like, hey, what are you doing? Where are you eating? What kind of music you like? You know, we want to know more about these wrestlers because they do entertain us and all that other stuff. So we like to sometimes get too indulged in their personal life, and it was pretty cool that Paul Heyman was able to open the doors and show us, you know, how much he loves his kids and, you know, why he's back in the WWE. I really liked, you know, hearing the reason why Paul Heyman's back, how he works with some of the younger talents now, and he can help, you know, a Renee Young become a better interviewer than she is now. So I really like what Paul Heyman's doing. And, you know, I don't agree that Paul Heyman's the greatest manager of all time. That could be personal opinion. I don't really agree with that, but, you know, he's done his work, and I really liked how they constructed this DVD. It's not my favorite DVD of all time or, you know, documentary of all time from WWE, but it's definitely a good one and definitely one you guys should check out. It's definitely a sweet watch because Paul Heyman's one of those guys that, like me, do it yourself. You control your own destiny. No one's going to hold your hand the whole way in your life. You have to control it yourself. You define your own destiny. And Paul Heyman's kind of like me, you know, I want to enter a world that, you know, pretty much is going to be do it myself type of deal. I want to become a broadcast journalist. I want to do radio. I want to maybe one day work for the WWE when it comes down to it, or maybe work for Sports Center even if I might not like it. I want to do it myself. I want to make a name for myself. I have to do something to it. And, you know, I want to do like the radio things. One of my dreams would just be to be like a radio interviewer, and I get to interview pop culture celebrities and freaking wrestlers. That's my dream. But I know that to reach that dream, I have to do it myself. And I've been working hard at it outside in my outside world. Trust me, it's not easy, guys. And so what I liked about Paul Heyman is that he really shows you that he's one of those guys that, you know, it's do it yourself. Your destiny is in your own hands. And I'm glad that he's successful because he's a guy that did it himself. I am glad about that. You know, it really gives you a positive outlook that, like, you can reach your dreams. You just have to work hard at it. You just have to know how to hustle and to promote and do that other stuff. So really, to be honest, that's something that you can gain out of this Paul Heyman DVD, is maybe a life lesson about how to be, you know, someone that can do it yourself, and how you can reach your dreams no matter how far out they seem. You know, it may seem impossible, like, oh my God, I can't reach that certain level of success, but as long as you do it yourself, you can do it. But anyways, Paul Heyman DVD is the documentary is a good documentary. It's not my favorite documentary, like I said, too much ECW stuff. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I hate ECW. It's just like, you already have like 5 fucking DVDs of it. We don't need more ECW backstory and history. We know everything about ECW that there is to know. We don't need to know more information about it. But it is definitely a good documentary. Check it out if you guys haven't already. If you guys have seen the Paul Heyman documentary, what do you guys think about it? Comment down below your thoughts. Is this a documentary you're excited for? If you haven't seen it already, you know, comment down. Are you excited to see it? What do you guys think about this review? Comment that down below as well. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at ChaseOliver68. Check out my website, Chilling with Chase. And if you guys like this video, hit that subscribe button. And also give this video a big thumbs up. I'll see you all tomorrow. If you haven't already, check out my Raw review and my SummerSlam 93 review. Those videos will be in the description box down below. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Q&A. I hope you guys have a good day. Peace.